Huh. So this is an orbital refrigerator. I noticed there was a large one in the Courageous kitchen, but I wasn't entirely sure what it was at the same time. Oh, now that you mention it, we do have one aboard, don't we? Being able to just stick food in there and have it stay fresh for days is pretty awesome. So it is. I wouldn't mind having one for myself when I want to prepare a box lunch. How much does one cost? Maybe I'll consider one when my skill in cooking improves enough to justify the expenditure. Let's go look at something else. Right. She actually seems pretty disappointed she can't get one. What's this? The design is rather avant-garde. It says here that it's called an Orbital vacuum cleaner. You press the button on it and it'll suck up dust and crumbs. So it's like the Orbital version of a broom, I guess. This has like this feeling of like the 1940s or 50s, like when appliances first started to become a thing, and people would go to like Sears and Roebuck, right? And they'd be like, "Hello, welcome to Sears and Roebuck Appliance Center, where we have amazing appliances for you. Look at this one right here. It's a refrigerator. Keeps your food nice and cold and crisp and fresh." And then we've got, when you've got to take that food out of the refrigerator and cook it, we have a stove, an electric stove with an oven attached to it. No more fireplaces for you, little lady. You can cook on a stove and oven, make that food nice and fresh, save hours. And you can spend that hours that you've saved doing the cleaning with our new appliance vacuum cleaner. No more broom and dustpan for you. Just hit this little button and it sucks dirt right up off the carpet. Isn't that amazing? Now you're probably thinking, well, it's going to make the whole day so boring. I guess I'll have to do the laundry all day. No, you won't. Because now we also have washing machines. You can take all that dirty clothes and throw it into our Spin-O-Matic 10,000. It's clean, do it all clean. No more tub and basin and scrub board for you. No, ma'am. Washing machine. Do you think it really was a jump that fast? Like, I'm sitting here, like, I'm making these jokes, and then I'm realizing, I'm like, in the 20s, were people using scrub boards and tub basins to wash clothes still? Maybe. That is really interesting. Huh, that's one of those times where, like, I was trying to make a joke, and then all of a sudden, like, it made me, like, now I'm actually, like, thinking about it. Like, I kind of want to go watch a documentary or something. That is, huh. Well, anyway. Now we have, you know, the other thing is funny. It's like, you'd go into the shop to buy these things, the appliances and stuff, but Sears and Roebuck was known for their catalogs, right? They were like the Amazon of the time. No more window shopping for you. Just open up our handy dandy catalog and flip through thousands of pages. Okay, I'm done. Ah, that does sound pretty convenient. I'd like to give it a try. Let's see. Laura carefully pressed the button on the vacuum cleaner. I don't think you're supposed to just turn on the appliances in the store like that. Sorry, I guess curiosity just got the better of me. I suppose I should turn it off then. Is this the button you press to do that? Why is it vibrating even louder and more forcefully? Excuse me, miss. Well, he certainly seemed none too pleased with us. I'm sorry, Rean. Don't worry about it. It's not often I see you get into trouble like that. I guess technology isn't your forte, huh? Apparently not. I mean, I have an interest in it, but very little experience actually using it. I think I'd be able to use all the appliances here if I had a chance to learn, though. Just like I did with our combat ordnance. By the way, what are these? They're orbital washing machines, by the look of it. You put your clothes in there and it'll wash them for you. Elisa had a few in her house, from what I remember. Wow, that sure sounds convenient. Fascinating. I wonder how it works. Let me see. Oh, not again. My apologies. So which of these buttons turns it off? This one? No, maybe this one. Please tell me you haven't done what I think you've done. I'm afraid it appears I've broken it. Excuse me, miss. Fortunately for Laura and Rean, the damage was much less severe than it looked, and they were able to repair the Orbital washing machine. The employee was understandably furious, but thanks to their connections with Elisa, he was kind enough to overlook what happened. I can't believe I made such a blunder not just once, but twice. Well, at least they were able to fix it, right? All's well that ends well, I guess. Still, it really does feel like you were, born into the way of the sword. You don't need to make my lack of domestic skills sound like some kind of winning quality. I'm all too aware of the areas where I come up short, and I took up cooking in an effort to become more refined, but I wasn't planning to admit that there, or here. Ugh. Still, I'm glad I got the chance to see a side of you no one else has really gotten to see. And hey, no one's good at everything. We've all got our weak spots. Well, that's true, but you and I aren't so different in that regard, you know? All of us have roles we're good at fulfilling, and for those we aren't, we need to learn to rely on others. I want you to promise me you won't try to shoulder everything yourself. All of us are here with you to share the burden. Huh. Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Laura. Huh? What's the kitten doing here? Meh. He doesn't look too happy. Maybe he's been separated from his mother? He's not wearing a collar, so I'm guessing he's a stray. Rean, don't worry, we've got some time before we need to head back. Let's see if we can reunite him with his mother, shall we? Kitten in hand, Rean and Fee started walking around the city trying to find where the kitten's mother could be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Celine's not the kitten's mother. The kitten being a stray, they assumed that finding his mother wasn't going to be an easy task, and they were completely right. Rean and Fee asked everyone they could, even Celine, and searched for the missing mother cat with every fiber of their being. In the end, over there. Huh. Looks like we found our mother. Yep. Even without knowing what they're saying, it's obvious they're family. Meow meow. Meow. I'm just glad we were able to reunite these two. Me too. His mother must have been looking for him all this time. Nice to know his family didn't abandon him after all. B. Carrying him around reminded me of something that happened the day the boss died. Just before he fell in battle, too. What happened? We wanted to watch the battle between him and the Red Constellation's leader, so we'd set up camp nearby. All of a sudden, a Jaeger wandered into our camp, a girl about my age. Another Jaeger that young? Maybe a year older than me? I don't know. She'd come up from the Red Constellation's camp on the other side of the battlefield. All because she was chasing a stray cat. Hold on, she wandered into an enemy camp just before a battle? That seems like an incredibly bad idea. What happened? Oh, we didn't attack her or anything. They weren't exactly in the mood to start anything with us at that point either. So the two of us just talked while she played with the cat. Wow, I can hardly imagine having a casual conversation with an enemy just before your leaders fight to the death. It's also kind of depressing to think that there are other Jaegers your age out there too. I guess we're not exactly rare. But she was really strong enough to lead a whole battalion in their corps. It was like she lived to be out on the battlefield and killing. Loved fighting as much as anyone I've ever seen. She was more man-eating tiger than girl. Sounds like the two of you are total opposites. People tend to paint all Jaegers with the same brush, but the more I talk to you, the more I realize how different they all are. I wonder what she's doing now. I bet she's okay though. She was strong enough that she'd be fine even if her family left her behind. And that's another way we're different. Unlike her, as soon as my family left me, I became a weak little girl who couldn't do anything for herself. There's more to strength than just proficiency in battle, you know. And even if there weren't, you've become a much better fighter since you joined Class VII. I've definitely seen big improvements since our first battle as a class. Maybe you're right. If I am though, it's because all of you have been there to support me. There's no question about that. Hey, we all help each other improve and get stronger, both on the battlefield and off. You've helped every one of us. But we've all still got room to grow, and at this rate, we're going to need to do as much growing as we can. Yeah? Well, you've got a point. But together, we'll get strong enough to get through all of this. I know we will.
Greetings, my leader.
How are you feeling, Valimar? The battle yesterday must have been pretty hard on you.
I am fine. The damage to my armor and lost mana have largely recovered. I expect to be in peak condition before our next battle.
That's good to hear. Just listening to you talk, you really have changed since we first met. You seem to be talking a little more like a human now.
Is that so? That would suggest that my memory is slowly recovering.
What's that now?
The part of me in which memories are stored appears to be damaged. I have very few memories of the past, such as why I was sealed within the old schoolhouse to begin with. This includes my memories of language. Thus far, I have had to rely on the preset bare minimum of speech functionality. However, thanks in great part to your assistance, my speech functionality is slowly beginning to restore itself.
Does that mean that your memories of the past are starting to return too?
It is an indistinct memory, as if clouded by white noise. I seem to recall someone burdened by a great sadness, much like yourself.
That obvious, huh? I look that burdened to you? Someone died right before my eyes, and I was powerless to stop them. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that I might have been able to stop it from happening. And that regret's like a thorn stabbing into my heart. Was the person in your memory able to move past their burdens?
I am unable to find any memories that answer that question. However, I believe that your sense of regret is an entirely natural process for humans. Is that not the case?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Give thought to what you would do differently if confronted by the same situation again. If I can aid you, I shall.
Yeah, you're right. I can't undo the past, but I can at least make sure I don't make the same mistake a second time. Perhaps considering how to do that is the best thing that I can do right now. Thanks, Valimar. I feel a little better after talking to you.
Then all is well. I am afraid I must return to sleep. Should you require my aid again, you need only to call my name.
I need to keep on getting stronger. Strong enough that I can protect the people around me. The ship's maintenance is probably almost done now. Maybe I should take a nap or something while I wait for the others to get here? Yes, this is Rean Schwarzer speaking.
Hey there, Rean. George here. Do you have a minute?
George, is something wrong?
Well, I'm over at the Ruhr Institute of Technology at the moment. and an acquaintance of mine here has a pretty interesting proposal regarding your Divine Knight. How soon do you think you can come over?
A proposal? Who is this acquaintance of yours?
Well, it's the Institute's president, actually. Professor Schmidt, the Empire's foremost orbital researcher.
The name's G. Schmidt. I serve as this institute's president. I certainly wasn't expecting the pilot of that Ashen Knight to be only a boy. The Alliance ought to be damn near ashamed of themselves if they keep losing to a snot-nosed brat like you. I don't think that's any way to talk to a person you only just met. Besides, he happens to be one of the students who helped get you that minor medal earlier in the year. And one of the students put out that request without any input from me. He should be kissing my boots for having the honor of assisting with the research, however indirect it was. Some things never change. Putting that aside, is it true? Were you the one responsible for developing the Panzer Soldats? It is. Duke Cayenne made the request, and I agreed to it. I used the ancient robot, Ordine, and the Society's archaisms as a reference point, and then designed a frame that could be mass-produced even with the Reinford Company's technological capabilities. Afterwards, I drew up plans for several models and oversaw the completion of a Draken prototype a few months back. Why do you ask? Do you have any idea what you've done? You're wasting your time, Rean. He develops whatever catches his interest, loses himself in it until he's done, and to hell with the consequences. The railway guns in Guerrilla Fortress and the orbital wave jamming device in Nord were both designed by him too. Unbelievable. Bah! An engineer who doesn't strive to satisfy his intellectual curiosity is a sad sight of an engineer. We just design things. It's up to their users to decide what to do with them. Do you get it now? It was because I couldn't cope with this part of him that I ended up going to the academy over here. Yeah, I totally get it, unfortunately. Oh, right. What made you come visit the professor to begin with? Of course. That was what I called you here for. I was hoping I might be able to get some kind of advice or pointer from him. You know, about getting a new weapon for Valimar. Oh.
And if I might be so bold as to offer a word of advice, get Valimar a better sword, one like yours. If you think you're such hot stuff you can beat me without your 8 leaves training, you're in for a world of hurt.
Correct choice of armaments is indeed paramount. Selecting one the Awakener is well suited to will increase combat efficiency exponentially.
George told me about what you're after. He says you want a weapon capable of fighting on equal terms with the Azure Knight. We might have gone our separate ways, but he's still a former student of mine. I'm open to the possibility of designing something for you. Really? You'd make a weapon for Valimar? I said I'd be open to the possibility. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. If you want my help, I have one condition. Zemurian ore. Ring any bells to you, Rean? I think so. You used that to make weapons for us before, didn't you, George? Oh, you know of it? Saves me the effort of explaining, then. It's an extremely rare ore found here in Zemuria. It's an astoundingly strong material that possesses a mysterious radiance within it. And what's more, as I learned while developing the Soldats, the frames of the Divine Knights are made up of that very ore. Your Ashen Knight included. I had no idea. The double saber Ordine uses appears to be made of it too, which, as I'm sure you figured out, means if you're ever going to compete against Crow, you're going to need a Tachi made of Zemurian ore too. To make one, however, you're going to need vast amounts of the ore. Yet, it was only recently discovered how to refine the ore at all. Processing will be immensely difficult. But bring me the materials and I'll be willing to assist you. The concept of a weapon that can compete against Divine Knights is of great interest to me. Even when you're helping people, it's only to help yourself. It'd be nice if you were doing it to atone for developing the soldats, but I can't picture those words coming out of your mouth. The very thought makes me feel ill. Bear in mind, Zemirian ore is an incredibly rare material. I doubt you'll find enough of it to get the job done. Still, should you pull it off, I'll design you the finest Tachi you'll have ever laid eyes on. On my name as an engineer, I can promise you that. Wouldn't you want a weaponsmith to design a weapon? I mean, I get it that, it's for a Divine Knight, but wouldn't you still want the weaponsmith making it? Thank you, Professor. This will be a great help to us. There or not, we're going to find all the Zemirian ore we can to make this work. I'll keep my expectations low. The advice Rean received on forging a new weapon for Valimar came from a surprising source, but they could not have asked for better. After politely excusing themselves, Rean and George left the Institute to reunite with the rest of the crew. And once the maintenance was declared complete, they boarded the Courageous and departed from Rean.